Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and another video. There's loads to talk about because I've been away for a long time. Let's do the intro and let's get right into it. Just realised that I think I may have had my microphone muted as I was doing the intro there. So apologies. I think that was the case. But yeah, as always, I was saying, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Let's play the intro and let's get right into it. So I've been away for a little while on here on my own channel. I have been elsewhere. Not been received as well, maybe, with elsewhere that I've been other than here. To be fair, Highbury squad and same old Arsenal have accommodated me, and for the majority of those shows that I've done, I've been, yeah, they've gone down actually quite well. Maybe more so the Highbury squad than the same old Arsenal, but there we go. You know, I'm grateful for any or all opportunities that come my way. But yeah, since I've been gone for a little while, obviously there's been a ton of Arsenal games, and the reason that I haven't really done the videos over on here, I've struggled really to say what I want to say. Maybe I've been a bit, you know, I wouldn't say down, but just a bit, you know, disappointed and angry. And I think if I just come on here and blurt out, you know, straight, go for the jugular like I normally do, it wouldn't be the best sort of you know, content or video that I can provide if I just come on here and just let loose. And you know, there's so many content creators out there, or you know, Arsenal YouTubers, podcasters, fans, whatever term you want to call them, that will just go and bang, 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 bang. And I don't know. I can have a rant. I can have a good rant as best as some of them in the game. I think I'm a I think I'm not too bad when it comes to a rant. But I don't know. I just sometimes think that, you know, take a bit of time, be a bit more reflective, and then you could be a bit more concise and precise with what you want to say. I think sometimes there's this massive, you know, Micah Richards summed it up, didn't he, where he said about the pylon. And I feel sometimes, especially with Arsenal, when things don't go correct, there is a, you know, somewhat collective pylon, and I didn't really want to contribute to that pylon per se. But I've done my notes for all the games that we've missed as per. I've got everything, you know, written down, and we should go through it and see if, you know, if you all agree. If you disagree, that's fine. But yeah, I just thought I'd chuck my 2 cents into everything we've missed. And good afternoon, Terence Tibbs. Good to see you. But yeah, so first and foremost was the Arsenal versus Crystal Palace game, and Arsenal switched the team up for this one. Thomas Partey come into the midfield for Moreno, and then Raheem Sterling come in for Bukayo Saka in the forward positions. And Arsenal, we started well. We went ahead early through Jacob Kivior heading in from an Odegaard free kick, and I was very, very happy for Kivior in this instance. You know, for him to score. I mean, he's played very, very well with Gabriel out, and for him to get a goal, I was really, really pleased for him. But then Crystal Palace obviously equalised with a really clever corner, and they have Eze unmarked on the edge of the box, and he just hit this bobbling sort of volley that caught us well off guard, and it also hit the post on the way in. And then Palace again, they show real threat with Eze down our right hand side. You know, Timber, he's got no protection whatsoever from Sterling or Saliba, and you know, he's also trying to make his way over to stop Eze, and he plays a lovely ball into Eddie Nketiah, who should really score against us, but Kivior made an amazing block to keep that 1-1. And then Arsenal, they score again. It's Trossard, and it's brilliant play from us down the right hand side with Timber, who just runs through himself. You know, he just thinks, you know what, I'm not going to try you, Sterling. I'm just going to bypass you and go on my own. And he lays it to Leandro Trossard, who finishes coolly past the goalkeeper. It's a really, really nice finish. And then second half, We had the ball in the net again through Martinelli, but they judged the ball to be out from Timber's cross, and it wasn't out at all. I mean, if the one at Newcastle a few seasons back gets given, I don't know how they did disallowed this, but yeah, Saka, he come on and then he produced a good save from the keeper from Martinelli's cross, but we just couldn't get that goal. And then Palace, when you think that Eberechi Eze scored the best goal of the game, up steps Mateta, who he looks like Rick Steiner from wrestling, in this headgear, but bless him, he unleashes one hell of a strike. And it's just awful from Arsenal all round. I mean, Saliba switches off with a poor pass into Odegaard, who just gets completely bodied. He's got no strength whatsoever here, which is worrying. Obviously he has physically waned this season, and yeah, he just dinks it, barring in over Raya, who's way off his line as well. And it was just a poor result to drop the points there and have that as a draw. And that just absolutely killed all the momentum heading into that PSG game. But the man of the match for me for that one, I got to give it to Jakub Kivior. I thought Jakub Kivior was brilliant. I thought he was our best defensive player on the night, in my opinion, and he really showed the levels that you need to go to when you're stepping in for Gabriel. And yeah, after that one, obviously PSG then come to town, and Arsenal, I thought we put them out the best side that we could with Thomas Partey being suspended. Declan Rice had to be shifted into that number 6 role. Moreno obviously got shifted into the 8, and Trossard come on up front. And Arsenal had the tifo before the game, which was it was like a wet fart in church. Let's be honest. And then following the tifo, we started the game like a wet fart in church as well. 4 minutes in, and Dembele scored. He picked it out from deep. He found Kvara on the right hand side, who got it back on the edge of the box, and just he smashes it. And players are just all over the place for Arsenal here. Declan Rice isn't in the right position. Timber's not really covered in glory either. It was the worst possible start for Arsenal. And then PSG, they just kept coming and coming. I mean, Kvara again forced a save from David Raya. Timber got a good foot on it, but Raya makes an excellent save again from Doué, and then Ruiz hit the post, but he was offside. Arsenal, then after the half-hour mark, I thought that's when we really come into it. We really come into our own. I mean, we had the penalty shout with Moreno. We had the Martinelli chance from the Saka cross. I think if he goes with his head instead of his foot, he probably would have scored there. But there was discussions that he might have been offside. He did look off to me, but it wouldn't have shocked me if that got disallowed. And then Martinelli has another great chance that Donnarumma saves in second half. We had the ball in the back of the net, but it was ruled out for offside. And I've got no idea how this semi-automated offside technology works, because it's meant to be quicker, yet they took 4 minutes here. And we also saw in the Nottingham Forest West Ham game before the Newcastle Arsenal game the other day, I thought this was meant to be quicker. If this is taking 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, or whatever, I feel like it's quite sus. I'm like, I thought this was meant to be flawless. I thought this was meant to be like the quickest and most easiest way to go, and clearly it isn't. But yeah, I'll leave the ref. I'll leave the ref stuff to one side. We don't want to get bogged down into that. But then Trossard, he then had a chance, didn't he? And people say to me it was a good save by Donnarumma. For me, I think it's a poor shot from Trossard personally. I think he makes the angle more and more narrow with his run, and then he pretty much leaves that as the only option. So if Donnarumma doesn't make that save, he looks like a bang average goalkeeper to me. I thought it was poor from him. And then PSG, they hit one over from Neves, and Barcola had a great chance, which I've got no idea how he missed it. And then Ramos cracked the bar near the end, and not a good night for the Arsenal at home against PSG. Poor from some of the big name players. I mean, Trossard and Odegaard, especially for me. I thought they let the team down a bit there, and the manager as well. I mean, 7 years into his tenure, and I still have lingering doubts about his ability to change or be proactive with his subs in big games and games that we're chasing. And I feel after nearly 7 years, you shouldn't really be having those conversations or thoughts about your manager. But yeah, man of the match for that one at home against PSG. I've got to give it to Miles Lewis-Skelly. I thought it was an amazing performance from the young man. European semi-final, and he stood out head and shoulders for Arsenal. I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch. I thought he was absolutely superb, and he showed a lot of these experienced players what it means to play in a semi-final. He was up for it. He was ready. And I wish some of the senior players took note, but they sadly didn't. Then going into that one, we had Bournemouth, but I'll just quickly, I've got some comments here. Hello, Eric. And hello, Elbrecht. Nice to see you. But yeah, we obviously had the Bournemouth game after that, and we come into that one off the back of the loss versus PSG, and Ben White come in for Timber. Party obviously come back into the 6, and Rice moved back into the 8 position, and the front three remained the same for the PSG game. And again, Arsenal started really well here against Bournemouth with Declan Rice. It was a good ball in by Odegaard that Martinelli put into his path, and it just went wide. And then Evan Nelson, he had a free header that he should have scored. It was a great cross from Kirkes. And again, the defending non-existent from Arsenal, and Evan Nelson really should have buried that. Martinelli then dragged one wide for Arsenal. Trossard, he had a header denied after some great work by Martinelli. And then Rice puts us 1-0 up, and it was a lovely goal. Nice ball from Martin Odegaard, and Declan Rice obviously took it round the keeper and smashed it into the back of the net. And second half, Saka cut in and dragged one wide, and Arsenal, we then concede, and it's a long throw from Semenyo into Dean Huijsen, and I have no idea what Arsenal are doing here. I mean, Dean Huijsen, he's signed obviously for Real Madrid now. We know how good he is, and he's 6'4", nearly maybe 6'5", and no one jumps. There's a long throw. You got a 6'4", 6'5" geezer. Nobody jumps. Nobody jumps, and Thomas Partey for me the main culprit here. He just doesn't read it at all or assess the danger, and it's another goal conceded set pieces from Arsenal. And you know, the glazing and the celebrations over Jova from an attacking aspect, I felt was initially warranted, and I found it quite humorous. But defensively on set pieces, especially this season, we are seriously lacking, and I don't think that the Jova sort of praise is warranted with how this defensive aspect of these set pieces is going currently. And yeah, Bournemouth again, they then get their second. It's from Evan Nelson. It's from another set piece. I mean, it does strike his arm and his elbow, and to me, I got no idea how this goal stood and how VAR hasn't seen it. But Arsenal, for me, overall, we weren't good enough on the day, and I didn't like in this game as well that Mikel Arteta tweaked the tactical setup in the second half for this one. He moved players that were in set positions into, he moved Lewis Skelly into the midfield. And I know he had Thomas Partey for this game, but I didn't understand why, when we're chasing the game versus Bournemouth, as opposed to when we were chasing the game versus PSG at home, he would tweak it and move people into positions to try and get the points or to try and win. He did it in the game versus Bournemouth and not the game that mattered most, and that just completely baffled me. But man of the match for the Bournemouth game, I gave it to Declan Rice. I thought, great goal, and just overall, I thought he had a really good game. I thought he was really good against Bournemouth. And that leads us into the next one, PSG away at PSG, and again went into this one with the best lineup that we could, but sadly, just ultimately, we ended up falling short. And Arsenal started this game really well for me. Rice had the early header, which went wide. We then had Thomas Partey doing this Rory Delap throw-in, which Declan Rice nearly scored from again. And Odegaard, he had a shot from outside the box, and Go Gadget Arms Donnarumma saved it. And Kvara, he then hit the post for PSG, which was a big warning for us. And Saliba then made a mistake, and again, Doué, he hit the ball right into David Raya. And then sadly, Ruiz makes it 1-0 to PSG, and all of the Arsenal's early dominance is undone due to this. And it's another goal from a set piece. I know it's the second phase, but yeah, it comes from a set piece, and it's Thomas Partey again. It's an awful header out the box, and it goes into Ruiz, and it gets a deflection, which I had the game on over here with TNT Sport, and it just took TNT Sport forever to acknowledge, by the way. They kept saying, oh, what a beautiful strike that is, especially Ali McCoist And for me, this just sums Ali McCoy up. To me, the guy's an absolute wanker. I mean, he can see David Beckham. He could see Dennis Bergkamp's goal against Newcastle was a fluke, but he can't see multiple replays of a deflected shot right in front of his eyes. What a just absolute wanker. But then Rice, he made a brilliant tackle on Bukola after Lewis Skelly made a mistake as well, and Saka, he then produced a good save from Donnarumma, and PSG, they then get awarded a penalty, which is an absolute farce. I mean, much like the Inter Milan penalty that we conceded in the group stage, and the one that we got against Shakhtar Donetsk, they should never be given, but Vitinha stepped up to take it, and David Raya saved it, and thank God, because I couldn't believe that penalty got given. And then Hakimi then makes it 2-0, and Arsenal again dallying around the box, and Thomas Partey again, error for bad error from him, and I don't know why we want to renew this guy. I know yesterday Mikel Arteta said he wanted to keep him, even though I think this is arguably his best season in an Arsenal shirt. He is physically weakening and he's slowing down. And when we're playing these big games against big oppositions, he is making costly errors. And I just don't think that warrants a new contract for me. But that's just my opinion. And Arsenal then pull one back from Bukayo Saka, and it's great work from Trossard, who he was really good when he come on, by the way, here, Trossard. I thought he did really well when he come on against PSG. And Saka, he then had a great chance to get us another one after great work from Calafiori, who, again, also did really, really well when he come on. But Saka just blazed it over, and that was that. I mean, it's another season for Arsenal without a trophy, isn't it? And it's an absolute gut punch. I mean, I didn't want to see Arsenal go out on a whimper, and I think that first half and second half, Arsenal really showed some character here and fight to try and get us back into the tie, but we just ultimately couldn't pull it off. And Arteta's comments after the game, for me, I thought they made him look quite foolish. I understand wanting and to back and protect your players, but when you start entering delusions of grandeur like he did, I think it does more harm for not just you, but the club and then the players and the collective as well. And I wasn't a fan of Arteta's comments after that PSG game. And when Luis Enrique come out and said that's not what we've told him, it just made him look incredibly silly for me. But man of the match for the PSG game, got to give it to Bukayo Saka. I thought his effort and application, when he's clearly still hurt and he's clearly still carrying an injury, I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was brilliant out there, and he was unlucky not to score more and maybe try and turn the tie. But we were just unfortunate there. So after that one, Liverpool at Anfield, and again, Arsenal come into the game with a changed side. We had Ben White at right back in for Timber and Moreno in for Declan Rice, who was also injured on the day. And we had a great chance to open the scoring here with Saka from a set piece, but he was just leaning too far back and he hit it wide. And then David Raya made a great save from Luis Diaz, who should score. And then Arsenal concede to Cody Gakpo, and I got no idea again what Arsenal are doing defensively. Saliba and White just completely all over the shop. They're in each other's positions and just communicate with each other. Like, honestly, one of you take ownership of the situation. For me, really, Saliba should be going to Ben White, get out of my central space, and you go to your right space instead of Saliba moving forward and White dropping in. There was just, it just didn't make any sense whatsoever. And then we can see it again from Diaz within a couple of minutes, and again, the defending's an absolute shambles. And David Raya, the end of that first half, made a great save from Jones to stem the bleeding. And second half, Arsenal clearly got a lashing at half time from Arteta, because we played so much better in that second half. Martinelli scored a blinding header after good play from Trossard here, with them switching between the left wide space and the centre forward space. And that really bamboozled Liverpool in that second half. And then Liverpool made their subs, which just completely sucked all the energy and the momentum out of them. I mean, the Trent sub, and the way the Liverpool fans booed him, I thought Liverpool were a joke for this. Personally, I think I'm not a, yeah, as people know on this channel, I'm not a Liverpool fan. I'm not a Liverpool lover, anyway. But yeah, the way their fans have conducted themselves with this whole Trent thing, absolutely ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But there we go. I'll leave that for another day. But then Arsenal pull it back 2-2. Moreno, after Odegaard finally had a shot. This is what happens when you shoot. Martin Odegaard's got that in his locker. He just hasn't unleashed it enough this season. But yeah, I found it hilarious as well that Trent Alexander-Arnold was the one playing Moreno offside. That just made it a bit all the more perfect. And Moreno then gets sent off, doesn't he? It's 2,000 in a row, and he gets sent off for that one. And then Liverpool, they think they've got a winner through Robertson, but he's offside and a foul in a build-up, and the game ends up 2-2. And for me, man of the match for that one, sorry, it's got to be David Raya. Got to be David Raya. I thought, the saves that he made to stop it being worse than what it was in a bad period of the game that we were absolutely shocking in, apart from him. That was a massive, massive performance from him. I thought he was brilliant. So, yeah, fair play to David Raya there. And then lastly, but by no means least, Newcastle. And again, come into this one with the same back four due to Timber's injury, and he's had a subsequent surgery now. So I'm wishing him all the best. Hopefully Julian Timber's back for pre-season, but if not, the very, very start of the season, because what a player. I mean, this guy's been amazing this season, and to know that he's been playing on an injury and still kept that level of performance is fantastic. So yeah, I'm really, really, really wishing him well in his recovery, because he's a huge player. He's a very, very important player, Timber. And Declan Rice, he come in for Moreno, having recovered from the injury he had, and then we have the same front three. Arsenal, we really make trouble for ourselves. Raya playing out from the back, and it falls to Tonali, who slips the ball into Callum Wilson, and then the ball goes into Bruno Guimaraes, and Raya makes a good save, and then he claws at the second chance to prevent Harvey Barnes getting the rebound in, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant from Raya to make up for his initial mistake. Trossard, he then cut in from a wide position and curled one wide. Thomas Partey, he had a header from a corner that got blocked by Pope in the goal. And then Raya, he makes another save. It's a deflected shot from Harvey Barnes, and then Raya makes another amazing double save from a corner. I think it's a Dan Burn header, and Barnes again on the rebound, which Raya saves with his feet. Just superb performance again from the goalkeeper. And second half, Arsenal, we go 1-0 up. Declan Rice, who's really making it a speciality with the way that he strikes a ball this season, and it's another superb goal. I mean, he's got so many superb goals for Arsenal this season, and it was great play from Saka and Odegaard in the build-up. And then Ben White, he hit one long from range, and it just went wide. And overall, big win and a big performance for the Arsenal, which we've needed in the last couple of weeks. I mean, that basically cemented the Champions League football for us. And without having an absolute disaster tomorrow, barring a huge disaster tomorrow, I think that pretty much secures second for another season, which I don't want to regress. I don't want to regress in the league if possible. So I'm happy for that one. But yeah, man of the match for Newcastle. And I've given him man of the match once already in the episode, and I'm going to big him up again. Jakub Kiwior. Jakub Kiwior, I thought, was brilliant in this one. Absolutely superb. 11 clearances. He blocked 2 shots, made 2 interceptions, and he wasn't dribbled past for the entire game. And then he had 93% on his passes also. And when Gabriel got injured, there was a real panic amongst the Arsenal fans. But Kiwior has shown, with more game time, with more minutes, he's a really, really valuable player. And he also showed how versatile he is, because Saliba got injured in this game, and he then moved from being the left centre-back to the right centre-back. And normally Arteta doesn't play the two lefties together. He doesn't like playing two left foots together. But he had to, because obviously there was nothing else really that he could do. And I thought that him and Calafiori, and shout out for Calafiori when he come on as well, especially in the centre-back role. I thought he was superb. And Calafiori, for me, he showed why he's so much better as a centre-back than he is a left-back. Just purely on the way, again, like I mentioned earlier about Timber just running through. We don't really have a lot of players that go just straight through that central space of a team. Just go right. Do you know what? I'm just going to go. I'm just going to play straight through you. And Calafiori, the way that he was coming out with the ball and just charging was absolutely, yeah. I've gone. I've gone at Calafiori a bit this season from a defensive aspect. Obviously, I know adaptation to the league and everything else, and he's had injuries and everything. But as a centre half, I think that is this guy's future. That is this guy's position. He's definitely not a left back, and it's going to be difficult because there's there's so much depth and space there in the centre back position. You know, you got Saliba, you got Gabriel, you got Kivior, you got Calafiori, you got Ben White that can play as a centre half, you got Timber that can play as a centre half. Tomiyasu can be a centre back when you want him to be. It's a good problem to have, but obviously there's so many numbers, and are they all going to play and are they all going to count? I think that's a big one for Arteta to try and figure out. But yeah, if we can, I would keep Kivior, and I would also keep Calafiori, but I would keep them as centre halves. I wouldn't play them as left backs unless we really needed to. But yeah, just as well, it was nice to see Jorginho and Tierney for their last hurrah in front of the Arsenal fans. And I have to say, Kieran Tierney coming on as a winger before Nwaneri did, that's starting to raise eyebrows now for me. I know a lot of people are peddling this conspiracy, and I saw there was something out there about him being linked to Chelsea. I can't see Arsenal selling him. It would be an absolute riot, especially if we sold him to Chelsea. I think fans would go nuclear if we ended up selling Nwaneri to Chelsea. But there's definitely been some kind of situation between the player and maybe Mikel as to why he's not coming on and playing. There's definitely something more than meets the eye. But yeah, I can't see this lasting. Nwaneri's too good of a talent for you to completely cast him away. But yeah, going into tomorrow and previewing our last game of the season, I've done a lineup as we normally do, and I think it's going to be the same as how we ended the game against against Newcastle. I think Jacob Kivior and Calafiori are going to play as the centre backs, and then Trossard's going to stay up front with Saka and Martinelli. I know Moreno is back, and I know Kai Havertz is back, but I think he's going to stick. I think he's going to stick with Trossard up top for this one. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I know Southampton's a bit of a bogey team and a bogey club, but I'm hoping that we can, go up there, get the win, and then if we're quite comfortable by about the 55th, maybe 60th, 65th minute, get some of the kids on. Get some of the kids on. Some of the ones that we haven't seen, chuck them on, and we can have a bit of a fun up there. But before I wrap up and go, just want to say thanks to everybody that's been watching, and also big thanks to Hente, who views the channel. He stayed with us before the Newcastle game, and it was an absolute pleasure to have you here with us, Hente. Me and Dan thoroughly enjoyed having you here and thoroughly enjoyed your company, and I hope you enjoyed your travels around Essex and also London, and I hope you enjoyed the Newcastle game, and I really hope you enjoy your away day to Southampton tomorrow. But yes, thanks again, everybody. Look after yourselves and take care, and I'll see you soon. We're going to review the Southampton game, and then we're just going to do the season. We're going to do the end of the season reviews. Obviously, I'll try and get Tom on. I think Tom will definitely do it. But yeah, we'll get Tom back on. We'll do the season review with him. We might do one with Neil and some of the Purely guys. Might have the Arsenal above all guys on. Try and see if any of the same old Arsenal people want to come on here. Who knows? We'll give it a go. We'll definitely have Melvin back on. Probably have Ray back on, Albert back on, Dorsey back on. All the classics that have been on the channel all throughout the season. We'll have them back on and do a season review with each and every one of them. And then we'll also get Sophie from the Highbury squad. Fingers crossed, we'll get her back on to do one as well. And yeah, we'll throw the invites out there, and who comes on, comes on. But yeah, we'll get the season reviews out for you as well. But yeah, thanks a lot, everybody. Take care and have a good rest of the day and the weekend. And come on, Celtic, for the Scottish Cup final, and also come on the Arsenal Ladies Champions League tonight. Let's go. Much love, people. Enjoy.